Today we'll be talking about the effect of alcohol on attention. Some need-to-know vocab that we have before we begin is alcohol myopia theory, which is a theory used to explain how alcohol consumption leads to the reduced effectiveness of cognitive function. This kind of coincides with covert attention, which covert attention is the idea that the brain attends to a stimulus without directly sensing that stimulus. This is important because our study looks at the peripheral eye instead of just what we're centrally focusing on, which goes to perceptual load theory, which argues that different stimulus require different amounts of type of attention based on their complexity. And lastly would be perception. The stimuli that are registered and then processed become our perception.
All right, so what exactly is attention? We're going to get into that right here. Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines attention as the act or state of applying the mind to something. So if you want to picture yourself like walking down a crowded hallway, there's a lot of things, stimulus popping off in front of you, and your brain kind of has to choose what it can and can't take in, because if you tried to focus on everything, you'd probably just overload your brain and it wouldn't be able to process everything fully. So attention is really the process of selecting which stimuli you respond to. So then there's going to be four main components to attention, and we're going to get into those right here. The first.
You're good. So the first one is the alerting function. Alertness is a state of complete vigilance in preparation for an impending action. So for example, a tiger catching its prey. The ears are pointing towards its target, the eyes are locked on its prey, the muscles are tensed. All these sensitive resources are all active in preparation for the moment of attack. That could happen at any moment, at the best moment when the prey is in its best state.
And the second one is going to be selective function. Selectivity is the process that allows us to focus our senses on one stimulus and ignore others. It acts as a filter, letting some stimuli in and keeping others out. It's like selective hearing, like how when you only hear what you want to hear, or if there's a lot of noise happening and you hear like your name being called in a crowded room, which goes into the Tea Party effect, which is where background noise is blocked out when you're having a conversation at a large event, so you're only focusing on that conversation and not like all of the other stimuli that's around you.
Then there's the limited capacity channel. So basically, your brain can only do so many things at once. It can only process so many stimuli at once. So if you try to do multiple things, you're not going to be able to do both of them with full comprehension. This is why it's like difficult to pat your head, rub your stomach at the same time. But also, if an activity has been like highly practiced, like driving for example, you can do another thing at the same time because it doesn't take as much mental action to do the main activity. So you could drive and talk to your friend without crashing the car. And then vigilance function, this has to do with maintaining focus for a long period of time. So if you got like a security guard here, at the beginning of his shift, he's going to be a lot more aware than at the end of his shift, because after a while, your attention span just kind of dwindles off.
So our research article, it involved 41 participants, 26 female, 15 male. They were all undergrad psych students in a psych class, kind of like us. The researchers, Sarah Bayless and Alastair Harvey, they are both professors in the UK for psych classes in the psych department. They tested the effects of alcohol intoxication on simultaneous central and peripheral vision. So our control group was the group that received the alcohol, which they received 1 milliliter of ethyl alcohol for every 1 kilogram of the participant's body weight. And then that was all mixed in with 500 milliliters of sugar-free tonic water. And then the placebo group only received the sugar-free tonic water. And then they tested the alcohol intake with a total of 3 times with a breathalyzer before preparing or performing the task. And then the actual task that they performed was participants looked at a screen with a flashing crosshair in the center and color-changing shapes in each corner. So that would happen simultaneously. As the flash is happening, the colors are changing and you have to keep track of the number, I guess, but after each one, they would test it and write down what colors they were. So it happened real fast. They did about 121 trials total, I believe, per participant. And then, so this is the results, the predictions versus the results. The alcohol group score will be less accurate than the placebo groups, which was actually, it was actually the only true hypothesis that they made. The second one that they did was the more array in a task will result in less accurate scores. So I guess part of it that I did not talk about in the experiment was that they also changed the number of shapes. They did 121 trials of 4 shapes in each corner, and then they did 121 trials of 6 shapes around the crosshair. And so they were anticipating that the more the more array that was on the screen, the less accurate the scores would be, which was actually only accurate for the placebo group. And then the other one was there will be a significant relation between sobriety and task performance, which would seem like a logical and understandable assumption when understanding the effects of alcohol, but it was not proven to a wide difference in this specific experiment.
All right, now relevance to modern society. So the current event we used is the phenomena of texting while driving, and that is a problem in modern society as a result of the brain's inability to perform multiple tasks at once. And this is because when you're driving and you're using your phone, when you're looking at your phone, all of your focus goes straight to it, and that's like your frontal focus, and you lose out on all of, or pretty much, or most of your peripheral focus, so you're not seeing like any stoplights or cars around you, like you just don't see that or like perceive it, and that's why it's more likely for you to get into car accidents or crash into things, just because you don't have that type of focus. And here are some statistics that back it up. The National Safety Council reported that 1 in 4 car accidents are caused by texting while driving, and then 34,237 accidents were caused by distracted driving, resulting in 3,116 fatalities. And then looking at your phone for 5 seconds at 55 miles per hour is equivalent to driving the length of a football field with your eyes closed. And every day in the US, 29 people die as a result of drunk driving accidents, and that's 1 person every 50 minutes. In 2017 alone, there was nearly 11,000 drunk driving deaths in the United States. And actually, drinking while driving has the same effect as looking at your phone while driving, because the alcohol inhibits your peripheral vision, as we saw in the results, in the same way that looking at your phone does. And this is our references page.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Michael.
Okay. So welcome everyone. Our topic is the effect of alcohol on attention. So for our in-class activity, I'm gonna need 3 volunteers. 1, 2,
Ryan?
1 more.
Oh, I'll
Trust
do
me,
it.
you're gonna want,
Yeah,
you're gonna want to
I
do
need my
it. It's gonna be
participation
really
points.
fun.
I'll do it, hell yeah.
Alright, so, okay Michael, we'll have you here, and this is to test hand-eye coordination. All you're gonna do is, Nico's gonna tell you a color, and then you just grab it, whatever it is.
Okay. Alright, you ready?
Okay, we're gonna have you here, and all you're gonna do is stand on 1 leg, okay? And then we're gonna have you here. This is just for reference.
For real now.
It's just to walk this line.
Alright.
foot
Orange.
to foot like this.
That's how to touch that gas before.
Orange again.
And we're just gonna see how that goes for everyone for 1 minute, and then we're gonna shake things up after. So go ahead.
Green. Blue. Yellow. Orange. Orange.
All
Orange.
right.
Yellow.
Michael.
Blue. Green. Green. Green.
He's just living life.
Yellow. Orange. Green. Green.
Okay, so now, so I reached out, since I obviously can't get the whole class drunk, I reached out to the counseling services and got some of these, which are called beer goggles. So I have 3 goggles, and they all vary in intensity. Alright, I'm gonna distribute these. So the worst one is gonna go over here.
I knew it was gonna go to me.
The second to worst one will go to Michael. And you will have the easiest one, but it's still, you're still drunk with this one.
Oh, yeah.
Wasting this one.
And now we're gonna test it again. So everyone just get back into position and try to do the same task.
This is 0% chance. Almost
No, that's
Oh,
not fair.
yes.
Almost
Alright,
like spins
ready?
right now.
Green.
Jeez.
Oh.
Blue. Orange.
Oh.
Yellow.
Dude, this is so much harder.
Blue.
Oh, his face.
Oh.
Blue. Orange. Yellow. Green. Yellow. Green.
Oh.
Dude, this is
Orange.
so much harder.
Blue. Yellow.
Oh,
Green.
oh, them.
Blue.
That's been my eyes.
Yellow.
Alright, and that's it. It was just to show you guys the effect. Thanks for our volunteers.
Dude, this is-
That's it. Thank you guys.
Yep.